Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Polish-Hungarian Chamber of Commerce, I would like to welcome everybody to today's webinar event. This is the fourth event in our webinar series in spring 2023. Our aim as the Polish-Hungarian Chamber of Commerce is to present the actual trends, news, challenges, and solutions for any kind of business attached topics related to the Polish-Hungarian business relations. We are very happy that today's webinar is in cooperation with very important players in Polish-Hungarian relations. Our partner company is Rabban and Rabban Group, also the Corvinus University, and Login Autonom digital company from Hungary. Let me ask the first presenter, Ms. Agnieszka Haik, Group Business Development Director at Rabban Group, to make her presentation. She is going to present on understanding and building responses to European transportation and logistics challenges. Agnieszka, the floor is yours.
Let me just attract you with the exercise and wake up your imagination and imagine what's happened if the transport stopped. On the first day, your grocery might be run of the fresh milk. Then maybe at your gas station, you will see that there is no fuel. What about your bank will be closed for the following day? And the airports will be also closed. Is it difficult to imagine it? No, it's quite not difficult because it's already happened a few years ago. It's already has been touched to our logistic world. And we have been also touched as a Rabban. Even if we are cooperating in the 15 different countries, we have been touched by this challenges on the market. What helped us as a Rabban that time to survive? The huge and most important thing was that we have a different customers in a different portfolios, different branches. Please imagine that about 30% of Rabban revenue, Rabban Group revenue, means coming from these 15 countries, is generated on FMCG customers, means food movement goods customers. It really helped us. But nevertheless, after the 2 years, we've got post-COVID situation, end of 2022. So we had very uneven economy recovery in the European zone. We have a new trend, nearshoring trends in supply Europe, because Europe was looking to be independent from China. We also remember the increase of the B2C business, because what we did, we were just buying online. Unemployment, low unemployment rate will also cause the salaries increase. And the next topic was connected to the raising inflation. We realized that the company needs to learn how to manage remote human resources. We started to be more familiar with the online meetings tools. And also we realized that they can be as effective as the face-to-face meetings. There was also the discussion on the markets showed that the companies were looking for the new setups. It has been not so obvious that the one European or pan-European cross-dock or warehouse is the most sufficient one. There were the question, maybe just to have one per country is more or less risky due to the situation that might appear, just like it was in the pandemic time. So over the 2 past years, we also recognize a huge, I would say even continuous increase in the cost of the logistics, not only transport, but also the logistic. And this has been caused by the high demand of the transportation. There was also the reason of this cost increase in the impact in the increase in the prices of the raw materials all over the world. The high inflation didn't help us a lot. And also we've got a pressure from the professional drivers on the market. And last but not least, the cost of energies due to the Russian aggression against European Union was also triggered by or cost also, or one of the elements increasing the logistics cost and transport costs a lot. The good thing is what you can see on the right side of the slide is that we faster recover from the pandemic crisis, which you see as a red line 2020, comparing to the previous crisis 2009 or 2015. The dark black line is showing you the average domestic road transport in Eurozone, and the different colors are named by the different countries. But what you can see here is that the price increased a lot when we are comparing the before pandemic situation. One of the elements, roughly 20 to 30% impacting on the price transport cost, is diesel cost. And you see also how the diesel react on the market situation. So this is the explanation of the cost increase, extremely huge increase in the last years. I just wanted to add this slide. Has been published by the European Union 3 days ago. And even if we are saying about the euro area, 7.0%, however, our CEE zone, as you see at the end of the green column, it doesn't look so good like general average for the European zone. Is it in reverse? We'll see. We secure our customer business. So with this claim, we are supporting our customers when pandemic starts, and we are supporting them now. And what actually we are doing, but saying that, we are supporting our main assets. We are a transport company. 70% of our revenue is coming from transportation. So our main asset are drivers. And we are securing our drivers by our own internal Raben program, which is called Drive to Driver. However, we are also supporting them being a part of a responsible tracking platform, which is close to the CSR Europe, and it's an initiative close to the different our customers, different companies, and different logistics providers. So respect the driver's work. This is what we are having as our claim to secure our most important asset. We are also the company having logistics warehousing. So of course, the new technologies in the warehouse are implementing together with investments into operational systems and robotics. We are, of course, investing into modern fleet. So in this picture, you can see Raben electric vehicle. Electric, yes, because we are also focusing very hardly on the next generations. So we are committed to the next generation by our sustainability strategy, together with the strategy, which is based on the 3 main pillars. So the social impact, responsible organization, and environmental protect. Then we define reduction goals connected to CO2 reduction, but also one of our goals is to renew the fleet. So this is also the thing that we are having our electric vehicles at our disposal. Raben is one of the first company in Europe from the logistic area that signed a sustainability linked loan. So the level of the margin from the loan is connected with our sustainability goals. If we follow the goals, that we are fine. If not, then the margin is not so, let's say, good enough for us. So this is also the reason we have to really take care about delivering the solutions.
Thank you very much for this part of the presentation. Let me give the word to Mr. Robert Wolny, who will continue this presentation talking about restructuring networks.
We are in constant move, yeah. So we are changing almost I supposed to say every day, but rather I should say every month. On this slide, as you can see, we have 5 daily departures from different branches in Poland to also different branches in Hungary. In the past, we had only one connection between Poland and Hungary. Right now, we are having this 5 on daily basis. And as you can see, this arrow to Poznan is a different one comparing to the others, because this is one of the concepts what we are working right now. And most probably in the short future, we also open direct connection from Budapest to Poznan area with the help of one of our key customer, but it will be also presented by my colleague Zoltan, who is taking care about that. And we are talking right now about Henkel. What we can see here is that we are able to provide from Hungary 48-hour service to whole Poland. We are focusing to have as closest connection as it's possible. I put also here an information about the estimated time of arrival. Every morning you can receive a message that the shipment will be under delivery today between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m., for example. And in this period of time, in 92%, as I remember, we are delivering really the given time by the IT robot. In Hungary and in Poland, 86% of our vehicles are equipped on the onboard units. So this is something what is possible. Right now, I think it's a time to see the connections from Poland to Hungary. And as you can see, we have more connections because we are talking about 7 connections running daily, on daily basis. We can provide also 24-hour service from Gliwice, Sosnowiec. Those are 2 branches we have on the south of Poland. The area of the region, it's called Silesia. And from those 2 locations, we are able to keep 24-hour service to Budapest area. As you can see, we have connection from Rzeszów to Debrecen. From Wrocław, we are going to Dzior. From Gliwice and Sosnowiec to Dzior. From Warsaw to Budapest. And of course, Wrocław, Gliwice, and Sosnowiec are going also to Budapest on daily basis. Very often, maybe you can imagine that this is one track. Now, from Sosnowiec right now, we are going with 3 departures with a trailer every day, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the evening. That's why we can play with the volume. We are planning everything to make it as efficient as possible. Because we talk a lot about connections between Hungary and Poland, I think this is also a good occasion to tell you something about the connections from Hungary to the neighbor countries. I can only tell you that there are some depots in Poland which one has a daily 30 connections, international connections all over the Europe. So for me, this is something also quite unique, and we are having quite good, or rather the best lead time we can provide. As you can see, we are able to provide the service to Slovakia and to Czech Republic from Hungary in 24 hours. So it means no matter where we have collection in Hungary, we are able to deliver the shipment in all Slovakia and all Czech Republic next day. The other connections we have to Romania. We are driving from Budapest to Timișoara and to Cluj-Napoca, and our new baby on the map is Debrecen to Oradea, because this line was open 1 month ago, so quite fresh. And this is a very new connection on our map, and exactly this is the answer what we are doing on daily basis. Yeah. To Slovakia, we are going from Debrecen to Koszyce, from Budapest to Senec, to Brno, but this is Czech Republic, of course, to Prague and to Rokycany. And maybe Rokycany is not well known to all of you, but if you remember what Agnieszka presented as a last slide about our Euro hubs, and one of the Euro hub is this Rokycany. Also to Austria, we are having daily connections from Dzior and from Budapest. I think I can say that we are able to provide a 24-hour service to Vienna region, but it has to be confirmed with our staff in Hungary. Rokycany is a concept, or EuroHub is a concept to connect as many countries and open as many connections as it is possible. So in the past, from Hungary, we were driving only to one place in Germany, and the whole distribution through Germany was done from Eisenach. We decided that we should change it and we should open such places like Rokycany. We called it the EuroHub, where all the lanes from the east part of Rokycany, I mean Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, Bulgaria, and soon also Greece, will have direct connection to this place, and Rokycany will have as much as possible direct connections to Germany. We have our own network in Germany. We have own depots 34 and still one partner close to the Switzerland. And currently we have 28 daily connections to Germany. So we are visiting on daily basis those 28 depots. And what concerns deliveries to the east, we have 18 departures from Rokycany to Czech Republic, as I said, Czech Republic, Slovakia, Hungary, Romania, and Bulgaria. And I can only tell you we are going to those 3 locations, I mean Budapest, Győr, and Debrecen, from Rokycany on daily basis. It is also, I think, important from the transportation perspective because we cut this logistic chain and we also decrease the number of reloadings. So very often, for example, if we have collection in Debrecen area, there is one reloading, of course, in Debrecen, the next one is Rokycany, and the last one is in delivery depot in Germany very often. Some informations about the numbers. Yes, so we are having this Rokycany. This is a 6,000 square meters for cross-dock operations only, and we are able, our capacity for a year, we are able to transport 750,000 pallets per year. This is our capacity from the tracking perspective. We have those connections, so we can provide this 24-hour service from Rokycany to Germany. In some conditions, we are even able to make much faster distribution, because if we count hours, we have customers located in Czech Republic that collection is taking place at 4 p.m. and delivery is taking place at 10 a.m. next day in Germany. So we can compare it only with a, I think, dedicated truck. But we are doing that on regular with a groupage business, so the costs are not so high comparing to the dedicated service.
Thank you very much, Robert. And now I would like to ask Zoltán Üveges from Hungary to finish this wrap-up part of today's webinar concerning solutions at work, what a logistics service provider can offer. So we are very curious to understand what Rabban Hungary can offer for the companies.
My mission today is to give you a bit of a flavor what this big machine are here for, to facilitate European foreign trade efficiently and with as high flexibility as we can propose within our solutions in order to connect the market players, connect sellers with buyers, which is more important and more critical nowadays when we face with those shortages and disruptions which Agnieszka was very well describing to you. We chose the customer Henkel, who is a customer of Raben Group since 1994. Cooperation have started in very small steps between the two companies. With performing those services, we are performing in multiple countries complete third-party logistic provider operations for Henkel. First of all, in Poland, based on the good experience, we have started distribution. Distribution from Henkel's facilities to their partners domestically, then of course internationally. What happened during the course of the years, they found out our capabilities as a service provider is also opening the possibility to outsource some warehousing and after manufacturing or after sales activities. This means we are entering the cooperation, not just in the distribution, but also in the contract logistics arena, providing warehouse surface and providing additional services in terms of preparing the goods for the retail or industrial usage. And finally, we are extending the services with also managing smaller deliveries. Imagine a small hair salon which is provided only with few cartons of products. This should be the parcel deliveries, also managed by Raben Group today. With those first part of transactions, with those small steps of cooperations, we got more and more insights into each other's needs and requirements, and also our customers get an insight to our service provider capabilities. During the course of the years, led to a very extensive cooperation. Then comes the, how to say, imagination. Why not to do it? Why not to extend it in other regions? And here's where this cooperation has really intensified as we started to talk with the customer that we have to do the same setup or similar setup to a different business unit of Henkel in the Hungary. So we have an existing widespread cooperation in and out of Poland. Now we are facing a new challenge that we need to basically copy-paste solution to the different business unit of Henkel to Hungary. So in 2020, we started a wide range of negotiations, how we are going to perform in terms of logistics combined with distribution from the very first day out of Hungary. In 2020, we are deep in the COVID. We are just learning the curve of how operation can be maintained in the pandemic, how our projects needs to go forward, and we are learning how to set up digital meetings, how to transfer to the virtual space in order to maintain the projects and maintain the preparation for such a big operation to start. We also need to consider many aspects because this is not happening from one day to another. We are taking care of all the operational requirements of the customer, be it about goods handling, be it about quality standards, be it about distribution requirements, be it about IT connections. And there is one important element which we needed to take care of. And this is level of communication, because all of these activities were suffering the element of missing the personal communication, as I just said to you, which needed to be overcome and needed to be very efficient in the sense that we understand each other, because in Hungary there was no cooperation before. We identified basically three major stages of this implementation, which was, of course, preparing our warehouse. We needed to, reframe our warehouse and refurbish because of the fact that we needed to prepare for highly critical, dangerous, hazardous goods materials. This has to comply with certain strict standards, not just by the customer's requirements, but also by EU and local regulation of law. We did have to factor it into our cooperation, into our implementation. Then, of course, we needed to consider value-added services. Customer wanted to outsource to us, not just the normal goods handling, but as complex activities, just like labeling, kitting of the products, preparing it for retail, and several promotional activities, which needed to be performed in our warehouse into such, complex products that we are preparing special coatings, which we are mixing to predefined artificial intelligence defined color levels, so that we needed to perform this type of complex activities in our warehouse. What were the key solutions which helped us to succeed? We are developing the solutions to be as sustainable and as widely proposed as we can do it. And from these requirements, we are creating our standards. We have developed a very comprehensive electronic data interchange surface, which is now offered to basically the whole market and can be now connected with all kind of the ERP system, main ERP system used by the market players. Dangerous goods is something which not every service provider would like to touch. We developed that our fleet is totally compliant with dangerous goods transportation, and our warehouse is complying with the highest available level of dangerous goods storage regulation and requirements, which is available. This means that we undertook a multi-million euro investment into our infrastructure, which is now available for various players of various industries. Also, we are very keen on to comply with enhanced quality requirements so that we are not just operating the ISO systems related to such strict measures and transparency of processes, but we are also opening it to diverse audits and, of course, the value-added services, which I already mentioned. In terms of the solution, as it's how it was unique in the sense that we should comply with the different requirements of the Henkel Group. This was the main points which we undertook. We had this large-scale development in our central warehouse near Budapest to be able to store dangerous, toxic, flammable, even explosive materials. This classification comes with strict measures of the Hungarian authority, and we are doing constant qualification of our employees and processes in order to not just gain this certification, but also to maintain the highest level of treating these dangerous type of goods. Of course, we've been doing really a lot of efforts in terms of eliminating human mistakes in the processes, not just because of the nature of the goods, but also that we are meant to store more than 4,000 different type of products, which all in all counted for 5,500 tons stored in this warehouse. And of course, warehousing is one side. The other side is how we synchronize it with the distribution so that the goods effectively reach their market. The output is as high as 30 tons products distributed on one single day from this warehouse. We are operating a shuttle service, which is basically continuous between the manufacturing plant of Hungary, of Henkel, and the central warehouse of Raben. From this warehouse, we pick and pack and prepare the products for consignees for domestic distribution, which are mainly DIY stores, retail partners, and some regional warehouses. This shuttle is operated as an LNG truck as of this year in order to reduce the CO2 emission footprint of this operation. In terms of the international distribution, these are the main connections which we are utilizing in these operations. Czech Republic goes to our newest Eurohub in Rokycany, where we can distribute the whole Czech Republic, even within these 24 hours, as Robert just mentioned. In terms of Poland, we are driving up to a warehouse near to Warsaw. This is the central warehouse of Henkel for the Polish market. There is another location which we are planning to serve separately. This is near to Poznań, and this is in the very near future an opportunity for us which we can develop with the customer together. And from Warsaw onwards, we have a line to Helsinki to also operate the Finnish distribution. This region is very important, being very important to this business unit of Henkel.
Thank you very much, Zoltán. Nagy Judit from the Corvinus University is with us. She is going to talk about digital practices at logistics service providers, research experiences by Ms. Judit Nagy. The floor is yours.
What we as academics trying to do in this area, and also we are cooperating with logistics service provider firms and other companies in our researches. So practically we are trying to make conclusions or make results which are useful for the business as well. But also somehow we are at the university trying to develop the theory as well. I brought to you 3 research projects from the recent years. The first one is dealing with customer expectations. So how logistics service providers trying to understand what customers want, how much they are aware of what customers really want, and how they're trying to manage the customer relationships in Hungary. The second one on the slide was a pretty big research project, actually, at the university. Many departments took place in it, and we tried to analyze supply chains from a wider perspective. It took us 2 years and 1 additional year processing the results. So we published a book about it in 2021. In this research, we explore different partners throughout the supply chain, including logistics service providers, and we try to understand how digitalization affects their business structure and also relationships, and also how digitalization changes how companies working and how the different players in the supply chain evolve. And the third research project was together with students. We were trying to understand how artificial intelligence and machine learning can change the work of employees at logistics service providers. We were especially focusing on white-collar workers, and we tried to identify which works can be computerized or which not, and what are the characteristics of the works which cannot be substituted, for example, by artificial intelligence. And let's see the first research. In this case, where we studied logistics service providers and their awareness about customer expectations, we found that the 3 main expectations from the customers is flexibility, and I think it was coming out from the previous presentation as well, that flexibility is very important for the customers, also cost and customized service. This was, I think, tailor-made and mentioned as tailor-made in the previous presentation, but I think we mean the same thing, that customers want to have a service especially tailored for them and carried out along their specific expectations. The customer expectations are high, and they need a diversified service portfolio to be able to fulfill this, not only warehousing, not only freight forwarding, then a complex solution is needed, and in the complex solution they can make a difference or they can become competitive. Surprisingly, they admitted that digitalization can be a field of differentiation, and how mature they are in digitalization, I mean the logistics service provider. In the second research, we were analyzing the production companies, logistics service providers, and retailer firms, and also we were analyzing business services and try to understand how digitalization can affect their strategy, the organization, and the technology. And we saw that in all cases, production, logistics service provider, or retailer companies, technology is present. They are using several technologies, which and how deeply is different, of course, but technology is present. We also analyze logistics service providers. As we saw in this research, those logistics service providers who we interviewed, we saw that they are mainly doing incremental development. So small changes in the technology, small changes in strategy or organization. The main problem was that these changes, these developments, the technology investment, if you like, are very, very costly. Return of this investment is not clear that when it will come back, and how the market will react, how customers will react. And those companies who were in that happy position that they had long-term relationship with customers, trustful relationship customers, which made security for them in this meaning that a stable business is behind them. They can rely on these business partners. Those logistics service providers were able to invest more and were more brave in changing technologies and not business models, but some parts of the organization and strategy. So the main conclusion is that the stable relationship with customers can very much help logistics service providers to invest in, to renew the technology, and this way they can offer really good service and an advanced service for the customers. And the third research, what I mentioned, is that how AI can influence white-collar workers in the logistics service provider firms. We can define how repetitive or how standardized these jobs are. And if it's more standardized, if it's more repetitive, it's more likely that it can be substituted by an AI. And this is what we've done, especially with the jobs carried out in logistics service provider firm in administrative processes, not only administration, so clerical things, but also on managerial level. And we found that some of the administrative processes, some of the planning processes can be substituted by machine learning or AI applications, but those which need complex cognitive processes, decisions, creativity, and interconnection with the customer, for example, these kind of jobs cannot be substituted. Logistics service providers using machine learning and artificial intelligence in their processes and software robots in billing, contract analysis, and fleet allocation and route optimization, for example. Industry 4.0 technologies, so digital technologies are present in the supply chains, also in different sectors, in different players in the supply chain, but these are very much varied across sectors and across supply chain members. So we cannot say that we are very advanced in every aspect. What was also important conclusion from our research is that corporate culture is not enough to make company digital, but the attitude of people can support that a company will be a good receiver of the digital technologies. As we saw, customer expectations are not especially related to digitalizations. And also regarding the last research, the main conclusion was that empathy, flexibility, decision-making, and creativity cannot be substituted by artificial intelligence. However, many of the physical jobs can. And interestingly, from the research, it turned out that those jobs are more in danger, which are repetitive and somehow it turned out that it performed by mainly men. And this is why companies has to be aware of this and has to be prepared of this and handle the situation somehow.
Thank you very much, Judith. And we still have one more presentation from the digital side. So Gábor Kiss from Login Autonom, I would like to give the word. Gábor is going to talk about the impact of digitalization on productivity, digital tools, and best practices to improve efficiency.
Our aim was to bring some practical ideas and best practices, approaches. How can digitalization help to improve efficiency? We are in business more than 30 years. We started our company in the field of security. We have our digitalization knowledge on the academic level. We teach in numerous universities in Hungary, in Germany, and in the UK. And we teach digitalization, security, and HR digitalization in the same time. Because of our background, 30 years ago, we started to work together with big logistic and manufacturing companies, and we created practical software solutions based on their needs. Since the 30 years, we developed more than 11 modules, which are able to cover very specific needs. Nowadays, we have a very difficult time. We have very strong external factors. We had COVID, we have war. The needs of the companies and the customers are continuously changing, and we need to adapt to these changes somehow. And one of the ways to do that is to introducing new tools and technologies to find new approaches. And one of the tools what we can use in these cases are the digitalization. First of all, before any deeper insight into the best practices, we need to have an integrated solution in order to be able to answer to these challenges. Our best practices that we find in companies that sometimes they have not one but 10 or 20 different systems, and it's very important that the systems should be able to communicate with each other through various interfaces. Talking about employees, it's very important to be able to communicate with the blue-collar employees. It can have a huge business impact if we are able to gather real-time data from the individual employees and to gather the data where the data is created. It's very important to have trusted data, and we can optimize our processes based on the collected data. We are working together with Deloitte on an international level, and they did a quite big survey where they asked the main decision makers that what are the cornerstones of corporate success, what are the fields which they think the most important fields to be able to answer to these current challenges. One of the field was the technology and team performance. They focusing on that field very strongly in those companies. The other point was to be able to align the employee skills with the organization goals and not using the traditional job description approach. And also it was the utilization of the data. It can be the employee data, it can be the data from the AI solution, what was mentioned in the previous presentations as well. So these three fields are the most important fields based on this study. The first area is how to enhance productivity. We have good best practices in order to do so. But before we can do anything, the most important thing is to measure the productivity. And to do that, we have certain systems within the companies. All the time, the key points to have a good digitalization is to make it as simple as possible. So if you are able to easily measure the activities of the employees, we get a very valuable data, and based on that data, we can use the Six Sigma and other process methodologies in order to optimize and make the processes more efficient. I would like to go to the second part of the presentation, which is aligning the employee skills with the organization goals. In order to do that, it's really important to be able to measure the knowledge, skills, abilities, and personal attributes of the employees. We have good experience in that. We have many logistic partners on the international level who are using our competency and training management module to do that. And in logistics, we found a big challenge that with the logistic companies, they need to adapt, for example, in contract logistic to a certain manufacturing company's requirements, because one competency requirements of a position can be completely different on the same position with a different customer because they have different requirements. And we are able to do a very deep hierarchy map in order to cover the requirements. And in the screen, you can see that we can build a very deep hierarchy, and we can deeply build up what are the requirements for a certain position. And here in this map, we can really easily able to assign competency requirements for a certain job role or for a certain employee, and we can see what is the match between the individual competencies of the certain employee and the competency requirements of the position. It's a very good solution which can help in audits, but most importantly, we are able to combine the competencies for different purposes. And for example, with big manufacturing companies, we were able to save 8 to 15 minutes on the production line by applying this technology on the practical level. So to measure and define the competencies are a really good tool to use it and improve the effectiveness of different part of the business. Also, when we're talking about how we are able to help our employees to plan their competencies and how we can help the team leaders and the trainers to give them tools where they can pinpoint the missing competencies and how to train and develop the employee. We have good best practices for that. In the screen, you can see, for example, what are the missing competencies for a certain position or a job role in comparison with the current job role. And the last part, which is how to utilize data, I think it's really important. With our customers, we do real-time dashboards in order to support the certain leaders, team leaders, production managers of the companies. These dashboards can give them a real picture about what's going on the shift, who is missing, what are the key competencies. With our customers, team leaders have individual dashboards where they can see the progress of the team, how many pallets they moved on a certain day, how many employees they have currently on the shop floor. They can see all these data on the real-time basis, and these dashboards can enhance their decision-making process. And by monitoring constantly the performance, by monitoring the current processes, they can pinpoint the areas where they can do the improvement, where they need more employees, where they need to switch employees from different areas to one area to be able to support the increased demands on that particular area. So these dashboards can be very useful and can support the productivity on the shop floor.
I thank you very much for all the presenters, and I'm sure that this is not the last time when we are talking about logistics and the topic of digitalization. Thank you very much for being with us.